welcome to Biockickz 3 Raw TV. I get questions over and over again asking about CLA, conjugated linoleic acid. Now, CLA is not fucking new, guys. CLA, the first time I ever heard of it was probably about 1995, 96, let's say around that area. And it was put out by EAS, which was Bill Phillips' company, something applied sciences. It was like experimental applied sciences or something like that. And they had the first creatine out. It was called phosphagen. It was creatine monohydrate. They had GKG, which was glutamine alpha ketoglutarate. CLA, they had V2G, or it was a vandyl sulfate product. So they were kind of like pioneers when things came out. But they also came out with Bill Phillips' side company called Metabolic Technologies, which came out with the first HMB. Now, creatine wound up working. The GKG worked pretty good. Their meal replacements, the Biockickz, worked amazingly. But a couple of the things never really lived up to what they were actually doing with it. Now, the CLAs added to the program back then, added fats to the diet because the supplements that you were taking were very low in fat. So their whole thing was you would take like 3 Biockixes a day and have like 1 food meal. It's like the slim fast of the fitness industry back then. So you're actually lacking good fats in your diet, and people weren't drinking milk and stuff, so they were adding these fats to it, and it was technically making you healthier because you were missing those fatty acids, etc., etc. But here's the thing. Studies came out and they put it out. It was like this. Studies also came out about HMB also. It didn't do shit. It did absolutely fucking nothing. My training partner Donnie and I both bought these, these products and tried them. I mean, we spent a lot of money on them. Back then you had to, rip the thing out of the magazine, cut the thing out, mail a check in, wait for it. And, it was like if you buy 3 bottles, you get 2 free. And that's the full, cycle. And so we did the whole thing. We spent the money. We did all this shit. CLA is not, I repeat, not a fat loss wonder fucking nutrient that people think it is. It is the biggest bunch of horse shit I've ever seen. The original study that was done, or what piqued interest, was cows that were fed this this feed that had CLA in it. And I couldn't find the actual the study that was up when this is the first one I read ever about it. And they said the cows lost weight by being fed the CLA. Well, it was later found out that the cows actually, as they were grazing in the pastures, the more that they grazed, the more they ate up the grass or food or whatever the fuck it is that they eat in the pastures, they were heading out further and further. So they were actually moving further away from the farm than coming in at night. They were actually more active throughout the day. That's what caused them to lose whatever fucking weight it was. But that was kind of hidden, and, it was marketed as a supplement. But before that, they have to have proof, right? They had to have proof that this thing would work for fat loss. They were like, new amazing fat loss compound, new amazing fat loss nutrient will get you lean, and you don't have to change the way you eat. You don't have to include exercise. You have to do this. You have to do nothing. Like all this bullshit, right? It hits the market. It doesn't do shit. However, that research that was done about it, working on humans, was what they used to market it with. And they bent it and moved it around until they got what they wanted out of it. And I'll tell you right now, if CLA worked that well, we wouldn't be looking for anything else for fat loss. We would already have the answer. Things like L-carnitine, which have stood the test of time for like 25 years, works. CLA does not work unless you're needing fats in the diet. And I think you should be taking essential fatty acid to begin with anyways, but the CLA supplements for fat loss do not work, period. Plain hands down. And what happens is it gets revitalized, which means the people like me from back in the the 90s, the old motherfuckers, already know better. But what's happening is there's a new crop of people in there, 18, 19, 20 years old, and they hear about the HMB and they remarket that fucking shit using the same exact fucking strategy, and those people start buying it. And the fact that you can buy it at like Costco or fucking CVS or wherever nowadays, you can buy it anywhere. Back then you had to get it at a health food store, right? Well, I'm looking at one of these, things that's a specific proof that CLA has fat-burning properties. That's what this article says, right? It talks about the subjects. Experiment was with 20 men and 40 women, at least 18 years old. And the experiment was to see the benefits of CLA, The experiment's elevated the effects on lipolysis to see if the adipose cells would release more. Okay, whatever. It's supposed to release fat, okay? Here's the big thing, the results, right? It says flat out here, it says there was a significant difference in body mass in the groups taking 1.7 grams, 3.4, and 6.8 grams as a whole. The significant differences were within this 3.4 and 6.8 grams groups. Now, you would say, fuck, the more you take of it, the more fat you lose. That makes sense, right? Oh, fuck, if I want to take, lose more fat, I'll take, instead of 6.8 grams, I'll take 10 grams, right? You'll run through it faster, you buy more of the product, it makes sense, right? And then what happens, they'll tell you, like, whoever's telling you to take it will be like, well, it takes like a month to really see it. and then you're taking it for a month and like you lose like a pound. They're like, well, probably not enough is built up in your system. You take more. Let's run it for 8 weeks. It's a fucking scam. It's the biggest bunch of bullshit. And here's the big kicker that I think that A, wasn't marketed, okay? This wasn't in the marketing stuff. And B, people specifically leave it out. It says, as a whole, the 6.8 gram group also increased physical activity, while the 5.1 gram group decreased physical activity. In this situation, increased physical activity could have increased the effects of taking CLA for the 6.8 group. What? It says it right in the fucking thing. It says they increased their energy expenditure, right? While not increasing their fucking calories, which means now they're in a caloric deficit, while the other group actually decreased their fucking calorie expenditure and they didn't lose the weight. Now they still lost weight, but although they decreased the calorie expenditure doesn't mean that they were actually in a surplus. These people actually technically could have been in a slight deficit, and the 6.8 group was in more of a deficit, which gave the result. It says right in there, this could be what caused it, but we're not sure. But you're marketing a fucking product and selling it to people saying that it does that. Like the whole guise of this is that you don't change your fucking diet, which means that technically if you're in a surplus, you should be able to take this and lose fat. Like that's the way it's marketed. Don't change your diet. Don't change the way you train. Don't even train. Just take this fucking product and you will lose weight. That's how they fucking market it. And I've had people come to me that don't like to work out. They don't like to do cardio and they're eating like shit. And they're like, oh, I started taking this. How long do you think it takes to kick in? I'm like, you should definitely start to see the results in fucking like never. Okay? It's never going to fucking work. What are you talking about? Are you fucking serious? No, it's not going to work. Well, I heard from someone at the gym. Well, that's the best place for information, right? Some fucking Yahoo at the gym. Well, the guy at GNC, oh, he's the best place too. That motherfucker, especially when they overstock CLA and they're going to be like, listen, get rid of this fucking shit and you'll get a bonus on it. I used to work there. I know what they fucking did. Anything that would have the biggest profit margins, they would tell us to push, which I actually get in trouble and eventually fired because I was telling them to use stuff like Gaspari's Myofusion instead of the brand that GNC owns because there was less of a profit margin. They were like, why are you telling them to do this? I'm like, because it works better. It's a better quality. Well, we want to sell this. Well, I can't do that. So, well, you got to fucking... It's a big thing. Anyways, bottom line is, guys, the CLA is not a magical... I actually had someone tell me, oh my God, they wrote me an email and was like, I'm going to try this new thing called CLA. I'm like, new thing. What the fuck? I'm like, okay, anyways. They're like, yeah, they said it has uncoupling effects like DNP. So you don't have... I'm like, uncoupling effects like DNP? What the fuck? I don't know where the person got that. They didn't tell me, but that's what other people are saying. So it's like if that rumor is getting back to me, it's very possible that that fucking rumor is going around in gyms or wherever the fuck it's going around right now. And people are thinking that CLA is the most potent fat burner based on the statistics, studies, and data. And it literally burns fat like putting butter in a microwave and you don't have to do shit. Interesting, because back in 95, if that fucking did that, we wouldn't have taken clenbuterol. We wouldn't have taken any of those fucking fat burners like growth hormone, ephedrine. We wouldn't take any of that shit. We would have been taking CLA, but we didn't. You know why? Because it doesn't fucking work. BioCtraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.biostraining.com is a blog. It's a CLA is fucking bullshit bicep, and we're out.